I think I think it went well, but looked like some had some predisposed views. But you never know. I really don't know what to say. But my lawyer did a good job. Presented my points. The brief that he put in presented all of the points. If they read the thing, then they'd have understood a little bit more prior. But maybe they did. I don't know. But one of the guys didn't seem like he even read it. But we'll see what happens. That's all I can do. I am pleased with what my lawyer did and how he presented the case.
This is an important issue, isn't it, given the
Very
referendum
important.
that's coming up? Because if I understand things correctly, what this all boils down to is what kind of paperwork you have to have as a legitimate caregiver and as a patient getting medical marijuana, right?
Well, it does, but we're not keen on the ID card system that's in the new legislation. As a matter of fact, the state of Maine has voted down the real ID system for the federal government, so why would we want an ID system? Yes, indeed, it does need to be clarified on the paperwork. But that's what I've been working on for a couple of years, and my last case proved that the paperwork was okay. I don't know why it didn't pass the muster for the last time, but I had a number of patients. I had less plants than what I had for patients, and less marijuana. And I don't see why, the difference in the juries is that the juries got instructed properly this time and they didn't the last time, is all I can say.
What was the difference between the case that you won? Was the jury instruction different in the case that you won?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. He instructed them very well on it. And with the last case, though, the jury was deliberating for quite some time, and it was late Friday night, and somebody caved in because they were like 5 or 6 hours, deliberating, and the judge sent him a note. To tell you the truth, the judge sent him a note 20 minutes before we came out, and said, "I'm leaving in 20 minutes, and if we don't come to a conclusion on the case, then we'll all be back here on Monday." Well, they didn't want to come back Monday, so.
This was this case?
No, this case was like 20 minutes or so with the jury that last time. But this one was like 5 or 6 hours, and then it was almost closing time, and that's what happened. But anyways, the presentation of the court case today was about the issues and about the instruction that was given by the judge, which could have been a lot different and fair for my rights anyways. And the jury would have come to a different conclusion had they known that I could have X number of plants for each patient, which they didn't realize. They thought I could only have 6 plants and 2.5 ounces of marijuana total, and I had more than that. It was quite obvious, and I admitted to that. So, but I also admitted that I was growing for my wife and Carol Cummins and Norm Tremblay and Harry Brown and a few other people at that, and they all testified. It's all in the documents, and it's not hard for them to see what was going on. It's just whether the documentation I presented was good enough to pass the muster for the Maine state law, and I say it was. And the presentation that was given in this case, it was the same paperwork.
As the other case?
As the other case.
When was that case?
One was in 2007. That's the one that we're hearing today.
Okay.
And the other one was in December of this past
2008.
year. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was very favorable. It didn't take the jury long to decide that because the judge instructed them properly.
So they were both cultivation charges?
Yes, indeed. And trafficking charges. And
Both?
all were acquitted in this last case. And the other case, the trafficking charge was acquitted because I wasn't trafficking. And yes, I did grow the plants, and yes, they were for the patients. But that's for a jury to decide. Should they have known that Carol Cummins was actually a medical patient, as was said in the court up there. There was a trial previous to the Carol Cummins was involved in, and he was declared a medical patient a year or two ago. So, of course he was a patient, but the judge didn't accept that for this other trial, which is the appeal here. And why? I don't know. But what am I supposed to do? I know he's a patient. He just got cleared in court. So, of course, I'm going to believe he is. So those are some of the things that are coming up with this appeal. They've got to understand that my paperwork for Carol was the same back then as it was for this other trial that I just got acquitted on. And if I had other patients, then I was entitled to have more plants. That's the whole gist of the appeal.
What did you have for paperwork done?
It's all on my website right now. We've updated it actually, but it's similar to the paperwork. But what it is a letter from the doctor saying that he sees this patient and what for, and that he's discussed it with him, and that's what the law asks us to do.
So do you think that the laws then should be different to help protect, to be a little bit more clear, or?
State could come out with a form. You just fill the form out and here we go. I mean, why should I have to be guessing all these things when you know, a lawyer can't even figure it out, you know? I mean, I go to 2 or 3 different lawyers and they all have different opinions. What am I supposed to think? And then
About
I go,
what you're supposed to have.
yeah, I went to the AG's office and they said, go see a lawyer. I mean, the AG works for me too, and he should have, you know, in light of trying to comply with the law, tried to help me comply with the law, but he didn't. And you know, that's why I'm...
Did you go to the AG's office before the search?
No.
Afterward?
No, I thought the paperwork was good. I don't know what else we could use.
So what happens if you don't prevail here?
Well, I guess I go to jail. I lose. I have been sentenced for 14 months, all suspended except for 6 months. I did a couple months of that prior because of bail violation for the trial I just got acquitted on. So I did, you know, and if I get acquitted on this, then I spent too much in jail for nothing. But if not, then I've served 2 months of that. So I'll have about 4 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 4 months. But I don't know how long it's going to take to decide the case, or the sentencing from there when I go back to court, or just how long, you know, anything's going to take. You know, I mean, it's been since 2004 now. You know, and I also put in for this appeal for lack of a speedy trial also, which was, you know, 27 months of them getting me to court. And the last, they're saying I delayed some of it, but the last thing that they had to do was to give me all of my discovery, which they had failed to really do in the first place. So, and then they had to give me another 21 days to file new motions and all this other stuff. And this is, you know, 2 years after the fact. So, was I robbed of a speedy trial? Of course I was. No, it's not even a question. 90 days through the federal system is a speedy trial. And this is, you know, two plus years later. But that part, you know, they won't even discuss that part. Because